obviamente, como dijimos, con otra entrevista más, ya deben saber a quién vamos a entrevistar, pero por supuesto, nobleza obliga y siguiendo los protocolos de este podcast, primero voy a presentar a mi amigo, a mi compañero de aventuras y entrevistas, al señor Demian Sudaire. Demian, ¿cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás, Johnny? Muy bien. Cuenta de tres, Around the World, alrededor del mundo. Esta vez llegamos a Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor, qué promoción, promoción independiente de las poderosas, si las hay, si no es la más poderosa, le faltan 3 minutos, creo. Así que, bueno, hoy vamos a estar hablando de, sí, así un poquito, ¿no? Acordate que hoy es audio, no nos ven.
A little bit.
El little bit, sí señor. Bueno, hoy vamos a estar hablando con un luchador que, como digo, ya lo presentamos, ya saben quién es, pero nobleza obliga, lo vamos a presentar nuevamente. Así que, Demian, todo tuyo, arranque nomás.
Bueno, podemos presentar a nuestro entrevistado como alguien que conoce mucho del circuito independiente norteamericano, ha estado en varias empresas, al igual que nuestro último entrevistado, ha pasado por TNA, WWE, ha estado realmente alrededor del mundo, hasta que pareció encontrar la promoción que al menos lo ha lanzado al estrellato, que es, Ring of Honor. Así que, sin más preámbulos, ¿podemos presentarlo, Johnny?
Sí, como no, adelante, Demian, dígalo.
Muy bien, lo digo. Sin más preámbulos, de Bruiser, Matt Winchester.
Beer City, Bruiser, Matt Winchester. Bien, ahora pasamos al inglés. Vamos a hacer el famoso switch al English mode, and we will say that our interview today is a wrestler that he has been in many promotions. He knows a lot of the independent circuit, and we believe, and I think that he believes too, that he has found his place in Ring of Honor. So, without hesitation and further ado, we will introduce, with applause, to Beer City Bruiser, Matt Winchester.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
Fine. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us today. We are glad. We are happy to have you. So, I believe that is our first interview with an active Ring of Honor wrestler, right, Demian?
No.
No.
You forget Flip Gordon.
All right. I forgot Philip Gordon. That's true.
Yes, Flip Gordon is part of the Ring of Honor roster now. So.
Yes, and
yes.
He's active.
The thing is that I believe that we don't put on air that interview, so that's why I'm not counting it. So
great spoiler.
Sorry, Damian?
It's a great spoiler.
Yeah, great spoiler for next or as an interview that will become online soon. But first, we will try to focus on Mr. Beer City Bruiser. So, as I said before, thank you for your time. And, well, let's start our interview in order to know him more. So, my first question is, as I always say, it's difficult to answer because it's a deep question. So, Mr. Matt or Mr. Beer City Bruiser, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very well.
Perfect. You are you say Milwaukee, Wisconsin, right?
Yes, I am. I was born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I started training for wrestling here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Partway through my career, I moved down to Missouri to train under the legendary Harley Race. Then I moved back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and here's where I make my humble abode.
Perfect. So, well, you have said a little bit of your career that we will be
Okay. First question. What was your first contact with the wrestling world?
My first contact was when I was 7 years old. My uncle actually took me to a fair that was going on by my grandparents' house. And the old AWA was running a wrestling show there. And I got to go with my uncle, and the main event involved Bruiser versus Stan Hansen.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was 7. They brawled right past me, and I remember just looking up and seeing Bruiser Brody, and he was covered in blood and sweat, and I just looked at my uncle and said, "This is it. I love this. This is what I want to do." And I just kind of became addicted to wrestling from there. I tried to find every Bruiser Brody match I could. I'd watch WWF, AWA, anything I could get my hands on.
Perfect. You mentioned, let me, I believe that is interesting, the thing that I will ask you. You mentioned the fair, right? You went to a fair to see a wrestling match.
Yes, yeah, it was like a little local fair that the AWA was putting on.
Do you remember in that time that the wrestling was more associated with fair, or in that time the wrestling was starting to have their own place in the USA?
When I was growing up, seeing Wisconsin, the summertime, a lot of fair and festivals run, and wrestling's a big staple, a part of that, even today. Back then, the AWA used to go around to all the buildings and whatnot, and then it was kind of a special treat when they'd show up at a fair. So it was more of a treat for them to be at that fair and just kind of get the name out. Where they ran a regular show, at regular buildings and stuff like that back then. So it had already gotten out of the carnival and stuff. It was more just wrestling kind of keeping its roots. Because of the weather in Wisconsin, everyone's outdoors in the summertime, so why not take the wrestling outdoors also?
Perfect. I will take the thing that you say about keeping the roots, right? Because we know that wrestling started in fairs somehow.
Correct, yeah. It started back in the carnival days, where they would do the tough man contests and whatnot, and they would all start around. It was carnivals, and then they got so big they moved into the buildings. I think weather had a factor to do with that too. Like I said, in Wisconsin, we only get 3 months of real warm weather, so nobody wants to stay inside. They all want to be outside. So that's why you get a lot of the festivals and stuff. And wrestling, in order to stay alive in my area, had to go outside with the people.
Good. Perfect. So, as we're talking about wrestling, affairs, and USA, what is your opinion about the independence wrestling today, mainly in the USA?
I like the independents. The independents need to thrive. In order to get your stars that you see in WWE and Ring of Honor, you need the independents, because that's where they can hone their craft. That's where they can learn. They can work in front of a live crowd. I wouldn't be where I was today if it wasn't for independents. I spent 14 years on the independents before I got signed with Ring of Honor, and it's the truly the lifestyle of a wrestler is working the independents, because you have to go up and down the roads. You got to make your own bookings. You travel all over the country and whatnot. So I think the independents are a great starting point for people if they want to become professional wrestlers. You need to survive on the independents in order to appreciate the bigger times like Ring of Honor or WWE, sorry.
Good. Sure. We agree, and we think that the independence promotions are the first steps or the base for the great promotions like WWE, New Japan, Ring of Honor. So that's why I believe that the game itself have possibilities right now, like the UK Championship, the Cruiserweight Classic. Now they are focusing their view to the women's. So I believe that is it's true what you said.
Yeah, like they wouldn't get those stars for those tournaments if it wasn't for the independents. I mean, they have their own training facility and whatnot, but if you look at the top guys, you know, in the promotions nowadays, like AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, they all came from the independents. They weren't brought up in the WWE system. They were brought up in the independents. They were brought into a WWE system to kind of learn the WWE style, but now they're getting pushed to the moon. And I firmly believe it's because of their time on the independents.
Damian, next question, please.
Okay. In your opinion, it's a good time for the independent wrestling in the United States?
Oh yeah, definitely. Right now, wrestling is on the upswing. I think it's because of the success of companies like New Japan and Ring of Honor that wrestling's on the upswing. I just got done with a 4-day summer tour with a local independent company, and they drew, I think the smallest crowd they had was about 2,000 people. You know, where you could take 5-6 years ago, you know, barely breaking 200 people. So I think the upswing of independent wrestling is going on right now. I think it's fun to be a wrestling fan again because there's so many different outlets for wrestling, whether it be with WWE, New Japan, Ring of Honor. You can even go into Mexico with CMLL or AAA. You have Lucha Underground. I mean, you just have a lot of fantastic wrestling out there. And the cool thing about independent wrestling is you get a mixture of all of that. You know, some companies bring in old WWE legends. Some companies bring in people like me, you know, Ring of Honor stars. Some people bring in just local celebrity guys to work their independent wrestling shows. And it's fun to see that it's back on the upswing. You know, it's fun to see. It's fun to interact with people. And I'm very happy for the independents right now.
Perfect. So, Matt, according to the internet, your debut was in 2004. You participate in many independent promotions, including the National Wrestling Alliance. What are your best memories of those years?
I actually debuted in 2000. Is when I started. My first match was actually 2000. And I wrestled everywhere. Some of the fun independents I wrestled for were like Harley Race's WLW, which is World League Wrestling. I learned a lot with Harley. I moved down there, ended up living down there for 6 years of my career to learn underneath Harley Race. And I mean, Harley Race is a true legend when it comes to wrestling. Wrestling for the NWA was a lot of fun. I got to find out what it was like to have a belt on a national level, not just as a local independent contracting wrestler. You know, I'd have national companies say, hey, you're the Midwest champion, we need you to come in for our organization. Like I said, it was a great learning experience to go through all the independents that I went through. I've wrestled in front of all of them too. Like I've had companies where I've only wrestled in front of like 10 people. You know,
Yeah.
But that's the best time to learn.
Yeah, sure. The perfect place to get things wrong if you have to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's a good time to fine tune stuff. Like I said, one of the best companies I worked for at the time was Harley. You know, that's where I learned a lot. I currently wrestle for an independent company here in Milwaukee called Bruiser City Wrestling, and he is the best independent wrestling organization in the Midwest going today. It's run by a guy named Frankie the Thumper DeFalco, who's an old AWA legend. And he gets wrestling. He understands what it means to go out and promote. He understands what it means to get fans in the door. He books some of the best talent around. And I've been with him pretty much my whole career since, well, I started in 2000. He started in 2003, I think, is when he started. And I've been on every single show of his since day one.
Okay, you mentioned about the, the, the promotion of Milwaukee that you mentioned recently. What is the target, or what is focused to? Is mainly familiar type fans, maybe most extreme ones? How do you see it?
The fans that Bruce City draws are the family fans. They want families to come. They want the moms, the dads, and the kids. They have some extreme matches, but they're pretty much family focused. I think the extreme hardcore stuff is kind of gone right now. I think that was a phase. You know, that with the King of the Death matches and the death match tournament, you know, that's kind of on the downswing now, where more of the family entertainment is coming back. You know, like I mentioned earlier, I wrestle at fairs and stuff like that. Like, you don't see a lot of deathmatch wrestling at fairs. You see a lot of the family-friendly shows at these fairs and these festivals. So, I know with the Bruce City show that I wrestled for, they were family-friendly. Harley Race prided himself on family-friendly. You know, they wanted the family of six to come, you know, the mom, the dad. They wanted to be where a Friday night you could go out with your family and have a good time, have 3 hours of wrestling, and want to come back next month.
So, what is the attribution about returning to the family type fan? Do you think that WWE has have something to do with it?
Yeah, I think so. WWE's been PG for a while now. I think a lot of the local independent promoters though realize they make more money with the families than they do with the you know, single college kid coming to a show. When you have families, you know, that's 5 tickets right there if it's a family of 5. Where if you have a college student, it's usually him and his buddy that show up. You know, and they try to get their other buddies and stuff. But that's not a monthly thing. Where like with the families, you're getting more people through the door, I think. Family-friendly entertainment now is also kind of the go-to thing. It's more the PC thing, I think. And I think that's why it's so successful. And WWE, I think, started that with their whole PG era. Not that I agree with it 100%. I think, you know, there should be blood in wrestling. I mean, a guy gets hit in the head with a chair, he should bleed. I mean, you get hit in the head. If you're in a steel cage match, there should be blood. You know, it's a steel cage.
Yeah.
But it can be tastefully done, so it's not offending anybody. You know.
So, do you think that the Attitude Era, the well-known Attitude Era, was like the correct path of wrestling, or it has to be a mixture of the Attitude Era and the PG?
I love the Attitude Era, but you gotta remember I grew up in the Attitude Era. So I thought the Attitude Era was great. I liked the testing of the boundaries and stuff like that, but if you think about it, it was nothing really blatantly over the top disgusting that they did. You know, they weren't using weed whackers and nail guns on each other. They were, you know, you had Stone Cold coming to the ring, flipping people the bird, drinking beer and stunning his boss. You know, that was the Attitude Era. Nowadays, people think you know, in order to be extreme, you have to take a razor blade and cut someone's face off. That's not true. I mean, even ECW back in its prime, the worst thing they ever did with each other was what? Light a flaming table on fire, and that was done once a year, maybe. You know, I think the Attitude Era could come back. You know, it just has to be done in a different way.
Perfect. Well, now we are going to focus on yourself. Enough talking about eras, enough talking about WWE. So let me a next question, please.
Okay, in order for our listeners to know you, what was your first name as wrestler, and how did the idea later of the Bear City Bruiser?
When I first started wrestling, you want to know the name that I went under? It was Dipsy Moore. I was a lumberjack, and the guys that helped train me kind of said, you know, what do lumberjacks eat? And somebody said Dinty Moore beef stew, and that kind of name stuck with me. When I went down by Harley's, I kept it. But when I moved back home from Harley's, I wanted to kind of do an image change. I wanted to be taken a little more seriously. I wanted to have wrestling to be my full-time job, my full-time life. So I went back to my name, which is Matt Winchester. And a friend of mine who was, we used to go out drinking all the time, he says, you know, man, you should really we should form a tag team. I says, oh, that's cool, I like that. And I says, we need a cool name that's us. I said, what are you talking about? All we do is drink beer and we fight. And it was like kind of like, okay, there it is. Since Bruiser Brody has been my idol forever, that's where Bruiser came from. And Beer City is kind of Milwaukee, and Milwaukee's known as the Brew City. We didn't want to be pigeonholed to just one city, so that's how we came up with the Beer City. And he retired from the business, so I kind of like, well, I'm going to keep the name Beer City Bruiser. And Ring of Honor's like, hey, you know, drop the Matt Winchester, keep Beer City Bruiser, and you have it. So that's kind of how we came up, you know, the name, and it's just been evolving from there, where I come to the ring with the keg and the cigar. That's kind of an homage to the Milwaukee Crusher, who's real famous here in Milwaukee. You know, I got the old school look with the trunks and the old school style, but still able to do a Ring of Honor wrestling style too. So.
Perfect. Great question, and even more great answer. So we know that in later years, most nearly the present, but before Ring of Honor, you participate in companies like WWE and TNA. And what are your memories about it?
Oh, I had lots of good memories. I did extra work for TNA. If you guys remember when Simon Dean first made his debut, I was the guy that got in the ring and kind of trashed his set, and then he threw me down and put me in a submission hold. That was a lot of fun. I did a lot of matches up there. I worked guys like the Highlanders, World's Greatest Tag Team, which was Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas. I did a lot with Kevin Thorne. I actually helped out Curtis Axel when he started out. He trained at Harley Races, and I actually helped train him and teach him the ways and whatnot. And then just recently, 4 years ago, I was fake Bray Wyatt when Roman Reigns was in the feud with Bray Wyatt. I was the one that came out dressed as Bray, and then he punched me, pulled off the wig, and it was me and not Bray. So that was a lot of fun too. TNA only did a couple of matches, but the real good thing about TNA was after my matches, I got to sit and talk to Kurt Angle. And he critiqued my matches, and he gave me a lot of advice. It was my first time ever meeting Rhino, and I can say to this day I'm still really good friends with Rhino. Because he watched my match too, and gave me his number and stuff, and I just kind of kept in touch with him over the years. So they were a lot of fun. You know, WWE obviously is, you go up there your first time, you're freaking out because it's the WWE, and I got to meet Vince McMahon and stuff, and it's like, oh my God, it's Vince McMahon, you know.
Yes.
But it was a lot of fun, you know, doing the extra work and stuff. And then, like I said, TNA I only did it 2 times, but I got to sit under the Kurt Angle learning tree, which, you know, is priceless.
Sure. You said that you have you are not an active wrestler, neither WWE nor TNA. But how TNA and WWE contact a wrestler in order to make that cameos?
When it came to the funny story is when it came to my first WWE one, I was on an independent show with Ken Anderson, who was formerly known as Mr. Kennedy.
Yes.
And he wasn't signed yet, but he was doing Raw for his tryout. And he was talking to Tommy Dreamer, who was in charge of talent at the time. And they needed a large guy, in his words, a fat guy. And he walked past me, and he looks at me and goes, oh, you'd be perfect. And he walks away, and I'm kind of like, okay, don't know what I'd be perfect for, but all right. Came up to me about half hour later, says, you want to be on Monday Night Raw on Monday? I says, well, yeah, sure. Says, here, call Tommy Dreamer, he's going to give you the details. So that's how that all came about. And then when you're there, you just kind of find find people to talk to and who to keep in contact with and who to send your information to and whatnot. When I lived down by Harley's, we had a lot of contact with WWE because Harley's a WWE legend. So they were always watching us down there. And then TNA was coming through the St. Louis area, and that's when they contacted Harley for extra guys. And Harley said, hey, I got this kid here, and it was me. So that's how I got hooked up with TNA. And you just get to know people over the years, and that's how you keep in contact with them.
Perfect. So it's somehow informal, right? I mean, it's like a telephone or someone pass you by and say, "Ah, you're perfect," and it's more an informal stuff. I mean, no, don't have like the view of like a huge company like WWE, right?
Right. Like I still send information in. Like I sent videotapes. This is back when videotapes were still pretty cool. I sent videotapes in and pictures and stuff. After that, but it was pretty much who you know. When it came to Ring of Honor, they have an actual tryout camp where you pay a fee and you go to the tryout camp, and that's how you get noticed by Ring of Honor. And my tryout camp, I wasn't originally going to do it. I was like, got that mentality, I've been doing it so long, I shouldn't do this. And my father-in-law actually was always telling me, hey, you need to do this, you need to be on that national level, you need to be on the next level, you're good. So what if WWE's not talking to you right now? So what if TNA isn't, Ring of Honor is the place to be, you need to do this. He passed away in June of 2013, and in his will, left money aside so I could go and do the tryout camp. So kind of his will was saying, hey, you have to do this. So I told my wife before I flew out that I wasn't just going to go and be a guy at the camp. I was going to go and be the guy at the camp. I was going to go and kick that door down, and I was going to make an impression on the officials. And I did. I did that in October, and then in January I was in the top prospect tournament. Next thing you know, I signed a contract with Ring of Honor. So it's a little bit, different than getting into WWE, where Ring of Honor has a tryout camp. WWE is kind of like who you know.
Wow, incredible story, right? Because as you said, it's like a wheel of a person that we should see in a better position, right? That's good.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, he always was my number one fan, and he passed away. And now I write Bubba on my tape. If you guys ever see pictures of me, and that's a tribute to him. Because I wouldn't be where I was today if it wasn't for him.
Sure, no doubt about it. Before Ring of Honor, also you participated, as we say, in NWA and in Wisconsin Pro Wrestling. You won championship with highlights. I mean, with the good matches. So, what is the feeling of a wrestler to win that things, as you say, like reaching that goals? How can you describe it?
Oh, it's an amazing feeling. When a company puts a belt on you, it's that company having faith in you that you're gonna put on great matches, and they see something in you. And then you take the heritage of the NWA and the meaning of it. I held some belts, like guys like Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard held. When I'm said in the same breath as a Steve Corino, I mean that's a truly an honor. It's an honor just to even be considered for belts. Winning those NWA belts was a lot of fun because it got me more wrestling experience. Because when you get the belt, I know with the NWA they had a thing where you had to participate in all their territories and whatnot, and defend the belt. So I got a lot more work out of it. But it was truly an honor that they thought, hey, this is a guy right here that we feel could put on great matches and is worthy of the titles. So it's a very humbling experience also.
Perfect. Damien?
Well, Matt, how did you get contacted by Ring of Honor to join them?
17 years. And he had always been telling me to go do this tryout camp. He saw something in me. He's, a mentor to me, and he's like, you need to do this camp, you need to do this camp. And like I said earlier, I just kind of never really wanted to do it. With my father-in-law passing away and him leaving the money in the will for me to do the camp, it kind of was like fate kind of stepped in. So when I did the camp, like I said, I didn't want to be just every other guy at the camp. I wanted to stand out, and it's a 2-day camp that they do. And I remember doing the 2-day camp and the booker coming up to me and saying, man, you are the guy right now. Like, you nailed this camp. You're definitely going to be hearing from us soon. And that's when they contacted me for the top prospect tournament, which is, they call it top prospect tournament when they find some of the top indie guys and they put them in a tournament. Winner receives a contract, and I ended up going to the semifinals of that tournament. So it was, getting in contact with them was just kind of like Steve Carino telling me to do the camp and doing the research to find out where it is and filling an application and going and actually doing the camp.
Perfect. Okay, Matt, speaking entirely of Ring of Honor, without doubt, your team with Silas Young is one of the most recognized among each other. So what do you think that your tag team is recognized for? What is your strong point? What do you think that has the difference among others?
I think Silas Young and I, the reason we stand out so much in Ring of Honor is we don't fit the normal Ring of Honor mold of tag team wrestling. When you think of Ring of Honor, you don't think of a cigar chomping, beer swilling heathen and cigarette smoking, whiskey drinking real man. We're two guys. When you look at us, it's like, all right, these are two guys that are coming out. They're looking for a fight. The other thing I think that makes us stand out is Silas actually started wrestling about a year after I did, and he trained about an hour north of where I trained. So we've known each other on independence pretty much our whole careers. When they put us together in Ring of Honor, it was kind of just, hey, let's put these two together, see what happens, and the chemistry was there. I had to narrow it down why we stand out in Ring of Honor is one, we don't fit the mold. Two, we're two guys looking for a fight. Three, I think we have chemistry together that I think the fans see that and they feed off that, and that's what I think makes us stand out.
Perfect. What do you think about the recently winners of the IWGP Tag Team, War Machine, Hanson, and Raymond Rowe?
Hanson and Rowe are two very tough individuals. Silas and I have kind of been in a feud with them off and on for the last 3 years. The first time Silas and I tagged with each other was actually against War Machine. It was July of 2014 in Minnesota, and it was Silas and I against War Machine for the Ring of Honor World Titles, tag titles. And we had such a great match. I feel that's what solidified my job with Ring of Honor. And I think that's what kind of made everybody realize, hey, Silas and Bruiser are two guys that could be contenders in this tag division. I'm very happy that they won the IWGP tag titles, but they better keep them warm because I guarantee you Silas and I have our eyes on those.
Perfect. Damian, please, can you ask the next question? You have one.
Okay, well, Matt Hardy once said, Ring of Honor offers the best wrestling in the world. Do you agree with this statement, Matt, and why?
Oh, I totally agree with the statement. I tell everybody Ring of Honor calls himself the best wrestling on the planet, and it's not just a catchphrase, it's true. If you want to see true, good, solid professional wrestling, check out Ring of Honor Live. Our TV show's fantastic. It's an hour of professional wrestling. You get characters, you get high flying, you get hard hitting. It's perfect. But if you wrestling all over again, come see Ring of Honor live. I had a couple fans that had never been to a Ring of Honor show, and they showed up to our Best in the World pay-per-view in Massachusetts, and afterwards says they will not watch anything else but Ring of Honor because of the show that was put on by us. I've done podcasts with numerous people where they weren't real big Ring of Honor fans, but after interviewing me, they decided to check it out, and now they are diehard Ring of Honor fans. From top to bottom, Ring of Honor gives you the best wrestling, the best stories. You want to get emotionally invested in something, Ring of Honor has it. It'll give you worldwide talent because we have the relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling. We have the relationship with CMLL. And we also got a relationship with a couple of United Kingdom companies. So you think about that, that's covering basically every continent, minus Antarctica, of course, on the planet, with the greatest wrestling.
Perfect. And the thing that you say gives me the start from the next question. That is about New Japan Pro Wrestling. And as we all know, Ring of Honor has an alliance with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and also you have the chance to follow in Japan. So let me ask you, man, how different is to fight in the US and in Japan? And also, let me ask you about how does Raw and New Japan Pro Wrestling benefit from this agreement according to you?
The benefits of it that New Japan gets is they get some of the best American wrestlers to come over to Japan. The thing about Japanese wrestling from the beginning of time is they always had really good American wrestlers. You know, if you think back in the history of Japanese wrestling, some of the Americans that have gone over there, like Stan Hansen, Bruiser Brody, Abdul the Butcher, the Funks, you know, they were amazing talent. You can go even further on with Bison Smith, who was not really well known in America, but made it huge in Japan. The relationship that New Japan has with Ring of Honor now, you get guys like War Machine, you get the Young Bucks, you get Silas Young, Beer City Bruiser, a Jay Lethal, a Punishment Martinez. You even get a guy like Cheeseburger, who is huge in Japan right now. Cheeseburger shirts, I think, sold out the first day of the tour over there. You know, they just love Cheeseburger over there. So, New Japan, I think, benefits a lot with the relationship with Ring of Honor. What was the second part of the other part of that question?
How different is to fight in the US and in Japan from your point of view that you have the chance to fight over there?
The difference, I think, is the crowds. The Japanese people are so respectful. They don't do the chants, they don't do the clapping and stuff. Where in America, the United States, you have fans that will, you know, they'll clap and cheer, they'll throw streamers, they'll get up in your face, they'll yell at you. Where in Japan, they're more respectful. They want to see what's going to happen, and then after you're done doing like a big move in the ring, you know, they politely clap for you. I think that's the biggest difference between the two. Over there, it's treated more like a sport, where over here in America, it's still kind of just entertainment. You know, and I think fans recognize that on either country.
Perfect. Damian?
Okay, let me ask you a multiple question. What is your best match and what is your dream match?
My best match so far, I actually have 3 that I always list. Actually 4 now. The match that Silas Young and I had with War Machine in Minnesota is one of my favorite matches. The match where it was Silas Young and I versus the Briscoe brothers in St. Louis, Missouri, is one of my favorites. I just recently did a match with Jay Lethal in Minnesota, which is really good, and then we did it again on TV, and it turned out really well. So those 4 matches are probably some of my favorite matches that I've had so far in my career, and it's just they're magical matches. A dream match that I have, I actually want to go to Japan and wrestle Ishii or the Iron Gorilla, Makambe. Either one of them would be a dream match for me right now. Just to get in the ring with 2 large guys like myself and just have that strong style match. That's a dream match for me.
Now that Ishii is in the spotlight after the fight with Kenny Omega in the G1 special.
Yeah, I was very happy to see him go as far as he did in that G1 special. That G1 special, the whole thing was amazing to watch. Made me very proud to be a professional wrestler. And Ishii got huge push. Him and Kenny tore it up. I thought their match was fantastic. Just made me want to wrestle him even more.
Yeah, we also as fans enjoyed a lot that match. So, Matt, let me tell you that we are finished our interview now. So let me thank you about all your answer and your time. And the last question that you have, what we have before the end, is what can we expect in the future for the Beer City Bruiser?
You can expect some great matches from me. You can expect me Silas and I going for any tag team gold that we can get. You can expect me to debut in Japan pretty soon. That's on my list. And just expect my name to be out there. I'm on the way up, and I'm going to continue to go up and up and up.
Perfect. And then we celebrate with the keg of beer.
Yes, beer is always good. The keg of beer is always a fantastic celebration. If you don't mind, you can also celebrate. I have a pro wrestling tee store where people want to purchase T-shirts. They sell worldwide, but it's prowrestlingtees.com/beercitybruiser. I have 6 shirts up there right now. One of them has the keg on it. So if your listeners want to help support me, go get a shirt and wear it nice and proud.
Perfect. Good recommendation. So, in the end of this interview, Matt, as I said, I thank you, Damien, I thank you about your time. And we have the tradition here that in order that you gave your time to this interview, we want to give you in this case the microphone in order to say whatever you want to say for closing this interview.
Sure. Like I said, go to my pro wrestling tees store, www.prowrestlingtees.com/beercitybruiser. Buy a t-shirt. Follow me on Twitter @BCBWinchester. Check out my fan page on Facebook. It's the Beer City Bruiser. If you have any questions or anything like that, send me DMs through either of those. And check out Ring of Honor. It's ROHWrestling.com. They just put up a Beer City Bruiser koozie that you can hold your beer in. It says Beer City Brew. This beer is awesome. So go to Ring of Honor Wrestling, ROHWrestling.com, the shop part, and pick a couple of those up.
Perfect. Okay. We thank you again for your time, for this great interview that we have. So now we are going to finish the interview in Spanish. As I said, Matt, again, thank you for your time, and we will see you rising to the top.
All right, thank you so much, guys.
Perfect. Muy bien, esta ha sido la entrevista al Beer City Bruiser, Matt Winchester, que ha sido muy completa, nos ha contado un montón de cosas muy interesantes. Y bueno, Demian, ¿qué opinás?
Estoy maravillado por la claridad con la que se expresó. Realmente nos pudo pasar mucho de esa pasión por la lucha libre, muchos recuerdos. Me parece que es una entrevista con mucho contenido, muy fundamentada. La verdad que la disfruté mucho.
Perfecto. Así que bueno, esto ha sido otra entrevista más de Cuenta de 3. Muchísimas gracias a todos los que nos escucharon. Y será hasta la próxima entrevista, calculo que muy gracias. Despídase, Demian, por favor.
Bueno, muchas gracias a todos los oyentes. Sigan esperando nuestras entrevistas. ¡Chau!